You are listening to the Loida Lewis podcast, hosted by Loida Nicolas Lewis. She's a trailblazing businesswoman, leader, philanthropist, and the widow of Reginald F. Lewis, the visionary leader who was the first African American to build $1 billion company. With unparalleled determination, Loida Lewis has not only excelled as a successful attorney, but also shaped a $1 billion empire. Following the untimely passing of her husband, Reginald F. Lewis, she took the helm of TLC Beatrice, carving her legacy as a successful business leader. Be inspired and learn from her as she shares her wisdom, the secrets to her success in both business, in love, and in life. Let's live, love, laugh, and learn. With your host, Miss Loida Lewis.
Welcome to the Loida Lewis podcast. And today I have the honor of presenting to you the fashion designer, Bessie Besana. And he is the first Filipino to bring Filipino fashion designers to the New York Fashion Week. So, Bessie, congratulations and thank you for honoring us with your presence.
Thank you, Tita, for inviting me. It's my privilege and my honor to be here.
Okay. Well, since to the New York or the audience in the United States, is your baptismal name Bessie?
Actually, Tita, my real name is Mark. That's what I was given when I was baptized. And so my name is Mark Besana. But when in college, so I attended university in the Philippines.
Which university?
De La Salle University.
De La Salle.
Yes.
Oh my
so
goodness.
nung naglasal po ako, I have a classmate who called me Bessie, coming from Besana. So parang, and I was like, that's cute. So parang,
I see.
I kind of stuck to it because there's a lot of Mark.
Yes.
And so I won't be parang special. And I feel that Bessie Besana, there's a ring to it.
Yes.
So I actually liked it and I stuck with it.
I see. Okay. So that's really a baptismal name a nickname given by your
correct.
classmate.
In college. So whenever I hear people call me Mark, I know that they're either my family or people that I work with in the professional setting, because in the professional setting, I was called Mark. So mostly ganun po. But friends from fashion, friends from pageants, friends from college, usually Bessie.
Bessie.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So when you said those who know you as Mark comes from your professional side. So can you just tell them, what do you mean by your professional self?
So I actually graduated with a degree in civil engineering from De La
Civil
Salle University.
engineering.
Yes. Specializing in construction management. So very specific specialization. And I actually practiced, Tita, the profession for 8 years before jumping into fashion.
Wow.
So while I was doing my career in the engineering field, I was volunteering a lot for fashion. Fashion has always been an interest of mine. And I would always volunteer for Philippine Fashion Week. So sometimes as a dresser, sometimes as a assistant of the director, anything that I could, help on, I would help. And that's how I actually learned the paikot-ikot of what the fashion show is. And eventually, after 8 years of corporate career, I told myself that I should not limit myself from fulfilling my dreams. And one of my dreams talaga is to be in the artistic field. And that's fashion design.
Wow, my goodness. Civil engineer. So, and you worked on it first, you studied it. Isn't that 5 years?
Correct. Sa La Salle po, 4.5.
So
because of a trimestral system, but yeah.
Yeah, it's still, more than 4 years. So, did your parents want you to become a civil engineer, or what led you to that when you said you have always wanted to be in the fashion industry?
I think, Tita, when we were younger in the Philippines, you're always encouraged to take a little bit more of a strategic path. And when I was younger, my parents actually encouraged me to become a businessman. And I told myself that I don't think I could be in business. So I know for a fact that I was really good in math. I was really good in geometry. So maybe I'm an engineer. So when I applied for college, all of the applications that I did were civil engineering. And I got to all of them naman po. But my destiny led me to La Salle, and that's how I realized that I might be good at it, but that's not really where I'm passionate about. But, I came from a very average family. So I was also parang required to get a more stable job when I was younger so that I could support myself and my family as well. And it was fun while it lasted. I was after 4 years of working, I was promoted already as a manager. So, and I was the youngest manager of the whole company. So I felt that...
And that company is doing projects?
Correct. So,
building?
Real estate management, tita. So it's actually an American company. It's called Jones lang LaSalle. It's based out in New York and Chicago. And then I manage a couple of properties for clients. So it's very technical, but I actually enjoy it because by heart, I'm really a project manager. I see things from end to end, and I really enjoy that as well.
Project manager, you're like 10,000 things that you have to put together.
And
so
find
that
the right resource. Diba?
Yes,
It's important to make sure that you find the right company or the right person to perform a specific job.
Right. So after, did you say 8 years of doing that?
8 years, yes.
8 years. So how did you make the break? I mean, because once you enter into a routine, it's a little hard sometimes to just break off. So what happened?
So the last year that I was in corporate, tita, I was living in Hong Kong. So I was working for another American company in Hong Kong. And that's when I realized that at age 30, I told myself that if I'm not going to follow my passion, I might be not happy in the long run. So I actually packed my bags, saved enough money for me to send myself back to school. So I actually went to a fashion school in the Philippines called Slims, fashion art
Slims,
school.
yeah, but it's been around since 1960s,
They're really,
1950s.
really good po in technical, like technical dressmaking. Yun po talaga yung what I studied there. And
How many years? Months? How many months?
it was supposed to last for 2 years, but fortunately, within 1 year, tita, the business took off. So I actually
Your
had
business
to stop.
took off.
Yes.
So while you were studying, you were already doing what? Making designs or?
Yes, tita. So I'm a type of person that I don't sit back and relax. And parang that's not my mantra. So 3 days a week I will go to school, and then 3 days I actually do my own on-the-job training. So I work with a designer in the Philippines. His name is Bing Cristobal. Does a lot of clothes for ABS-CBN before because he's an employee there. And that's how I learned how to work fast and how to deal with clients. And because of those experiences, I really carried that when I did my own brand already.
So is the brand your name?
Yes, tita. So it's Bessie Besana.
Okay, wonderful.
Nowadays, I call it Bessie Besana New York.
Yes. Okay, so that's a jump. You were still studying, and then your business was already making waves.
Yes, tita.
So was that so it's successful?
Correct. So I attribute a lot of my jump start to Pia. Because the time that I was studying and I started my career was also the time that she won Miss Universe. And we're very good friends.
Okay,
and she started working my...
Explain that. The person that sort of helped you grow, I guess, as a designer. Okay,
So-
please explain.
Me and Pia were very good friends. And when she won Miss Universe...
Give the full name.
Pia Wurtzbach.
Okay. Right.
So me and Pia Wurtzbach are very good friends. And when she won Miss Universe, she started wearing my clothes. Because we've been friends for a long time. She's actually one of my muses talaga. When I was in school, she will wear the stuff that I make. And that's how I jumpstart my professional career. So when she started wearing my clothes, of course, people saw it. And then they really wanted stuff to be made by me as well. So that's how I started my couture business in the Philippines. And I'm really grateful because for somebody who was starting, you kind of need that extra kick for you to get to the next level. And that was for me. My entry into the entertainment field in general was in beauty pageants. I was very active when I was a lot younger, I was very active in finding women to join national pageants. And then eventually they represent the Philippines. That's really how I started knowing a lot of people. I made connections through these beauty queens. And at that time, the beauty pageant industry in the Philippines was a little bit more quiet because we were not yet winning like in Miss Universe. And I was very lucky that I was in that bunch of people that led the Philippines to its win. So some of our team's proteges were Megan Young, Pia Wurtzbach, Kylie Versosa, and we're very grateful because they made a name for themselves, and that also helped us, our team, plus including my name, to be also out there. So they kind of helped me jumpstart my career in general.
That's terrific. So you said you will have to identify. Give us an idea of what is it. What does it mean to identify?
Actually, tita, that's very hard because sometimes it's really about a star quality, the potential of the person. So you cannot really, there's no formula, there's no specific reason, but you can feel it. I think one of the perfect example that I would say that she never really believed in herself, that she can actually do well in this industry was Shamsi Supsupli. So when she came to us, she really thought that she was not enough to actually join the competition. But we all know that she ended up winning Binibining Pilipinas and then eventually making top 5 in Miss Universe. But it was our team that really brought the best out of her. But what we saw with her was the star quality and the potential. And I think that's not something that you can actually gauge. Like, there's no specific barometer on actually knowing. It's a sense, it's an intuition from a person. And I think in general, me and my team that time, we had that.
You knew that she's got star quality.
Correct. Yes.
Yes. How about Bea? Were you involved in her evolution to be a beauty queen?
Bea Santiago? No, tita.
No.
Yeah. She's a friend of mine. Bea is a friend of mine. We will connect from time to time. But at that time, she's actually from a different group as well. But I love Bea. She's super nice.
Okay. So tell us what other women that you identified and trained that sort of reach Miss Philippines or or the beauty pageant of the world.
I think, tita, one of the biggest success that I had in the industry is having my first national title holder that I personally discovered, and that her name is Queenie Reman. Because when I discovered her, she was only 17, and then I really saw the potential in her. And then she actually didn't join immediately. It took her 4 years before she decided she wanted to try the beauty pageant industry. And on her first try...
But since 4 years ago, you already told her? Or you?
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
And tita, I just randomly saw her walking in a gym. And I just saw it. I was like, this woman could be a queen. And I approached her. I told her like, "Oh, do you want to join Binibining Pilipinas?" And she said like, "Yes." But she cannot join at that time because it's not allowed in her school. So she had to wait for graduation and then, another year for preparation. That's why she only joined Binibining Pilipinas 2011. And then after that, she became best in swimsuit, but she didn't win. So the year after, she joined Miss World Philippines and she won and represented us in Miss World. And that was the breakthrough also for me because that was also the first time that I actually watched an international pageant. So I came with her to China, to Ordos, Inner Mongolia, China, to like support her and watch her. And because of that, I made a lot of connections in the beauty pageant industry, which led me to the next work that I did. So I actually managed Miss World Philippines for a couple of years in the Philippines. And that also opened up my mind.
You managed the pageant itself.
The pageant, yes, tita. So we had the coronation nights in Moa Arena. So it's a very big, large scale competition, and it's a very competitive environment. So we have to make sure that the women are well supported with their endeavors in the competition.
Oh my gosh. That's 1,001 things that you have to put together.
While I'm doing fashion.
Yes. So you knew. Yeah. So that helped you in your next step.
Yes, tita.
Okay, so tell us about it.
At that time, I kind of knew that, of course, my career in the fashion industry is growing. And then I kind of knew also that I really wanted to be a producer at some point. But I never really knew how to get into it in the Philippines. There's so many good producers. There's so many good shows in the Philippines. So I never really knew how to get there. During the pandemic, I had an opportunity to come here to the United States. And I didn't plan on it, but through friends' encouragement, I actually stayed. And I applied.
Who invited you?
I was here to attend the Miss Universe pageant in Fort Lauderdale in Florida. And then I was staying in Chicago at that time. I was actually waiting for my vaccine, for my second dose. And then my friends from college were encouraging me to stay in the United States and try my career here, because at that point in time in 2021, nothing was happening in the Philippines. So they told me like, if you want to try, this is the best time because nothing is happening in Manila. There's nothing, you're not needed there yet. So might as well. So I actually asked a couple of lawyers if I could make this happen for myself, and I did. I was awarded with a green card for talents.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Thank you, tita.
Yes. Exceptional ability in the arts and sciences.
Correct, yes.
Right, so you don't need anybody to sponsor you. You sort of sponsored yourself.
Yes, they call it a self-petition.
A self-petition. Fantastic. Okay, so that's one hurdle.
Correct.
That you were able to, so you didn't have to start as a babysitter. Yeah, okay, that's terrific.
And luckily po, when I got my green card, actually last year, I met a guy and we became business partners. And because of that, it kind of pushed me to propel to the next step of my career, which is producing shows. So on top of that, of course, I'm continuing doing my couture business. So I would get clients from here and there. But I know for a fact that I wanted to do something bigger and something that's, more than myself, for myself. So I started producing a fashion show. So it was conceptualized exactly a year ago in September 2023.
Here in the United States?
Here in New York, specifically.
New York.
It's called Filipinxt. And our main goal is to bring it to the New York Fashion Week scene. So
which happens every September.
September and February. Yeah. So we actually had our first maiden show in May of 2024. And then we vowed through our commitment to the community that we will bring it to New York Fashion Week. And last September 7, we were part of the New York Fashion Week. It was done simultaneously with New York Fashion Week. There's a lot of people that came to the show. We had a very good turnout. A lot of fashion influential people in New York came. Pia Wurtzbach was also there because she was here for New York Fashion Week. We had a lot of other good people that actually attended the show. And we're very grateful because they also bought from the designers that we featured. And the designers that we invite they didn't have to pay. They just have to be selected for it and to make sure that they are representing the best Filipino talent. And that is, it has more than anything, Tita, it has become our advocacy to bring the Filipino talents to New York City because we really wanted the next designer to enter stores like Macy's, Nordstrom, Saks Fifth Avenue. Hopefully, there's another Filipino that could get to the stores. One time I was in Saks, I was looking at the clothes and then I saw Monique Lewis' dresses there. I said, sana there's another designer who could make this happen for us. If it's not me, then somebody who's like a friend that could make it in those stores. So and hopefully Filipinxt will be our avenue for that one.
Okay, so that is a consummation devoutly to be wished, as Shakespeare says. Right. So that is so brave. But so in your mind, when you came to the United States, was that something that you really wanted to be in the New York Fashion Week, September and February?
Yes, Tita. I kind of manifested that. I know for a fact that I wanted that. I don't know how to get there yet, but knowing myself, I will figure it out. So I need to make sure that I pick the right people to select the right team that will come with us and join us in that venture. And we're very grateful that the team that runs Filipinxt is predominantly Filipino. If we could find a Filipino talent to fill a talent spot, the director, the lights and sounds, and all of these crew, we will pick a Filipino. And I think that really resonated with a lot of people because they saw the quality that we put out there, and they are so proud that it was done by a Filipino crew.
Okay, so this is everyone in America does it. The white community chooses white people, Latinos and blacks. So why not? If you have talented Filipinos and they are good, why not them?
Agree, Tita.
Yes.
Super agree.
Okay, great. So tell us about what you said. February was the first fashion week that you did. How was
May.
that? In May.
That was our maiden show, and then September was the first New York Fashion Week.
Okay, because everyone in New York in the fashion industry has this walkway in September, isn't it?
Yes, correct. So everybody knows that September is the fashion month, and that's the biggest activity, New York Fashion Week. And we really wanted to make sure that our debut in the New York Fashion Week will be in September. That's why we did it. And then, of course, the next show is going to be in February because that's the next Fashion Week.
Right. So September is in preparation for the winter.
September officially is the spring-summer 2025.
Spring-summer,
Yes.
my 6 months after. Wow.
And then the February, Tita, is the fall-winter 2025.
2025. Okay, so that's the fashion, that's the calendar or
Correct.
schedule of the fashion week. So you're there in September, but
Correct.
you're looking at spring-summer.
Correct.
Okay.
In advance.
In advance, yes. So tell me, how did you maneuver that you are in the New York Fashion Week, where every couturier,
Yeah.
okay, has a runway for their fashion?
Actually, Tita, we're very grateful because when we started to float this idea, we actually had a good support. So when we floated the idea to the Philippine consulate here in New York, they supported us. Conjan Mangalilit, together with his team, come to the show. They really support us. We also got an opportunity to have an audience with Ambassador Romualdez after our show in May. They also expressed that, we're doing something, and they really are supportive of us as well. And people started, calling us, and they want to pledge their support for us. And the smallest support that they could give is actually to watch the show and to buy from the designers, and they did that. We had our first trunk show last September together with the fashion show, and people started buying from the designers. And that means that we're making business not only for the designers but for the artisans that are working in the Philippines. So we're giving back essentially to the Filipino community.
That's marvelous. Now, did you choose only one, two, or did you choose one designer for the entire show?
So
how was that show?
So for this last September, Tita, we actually had 3 major brands as a designer there. And then we have 4 trunk shows. So the 4 trunk shows are smaller collections, but they wanted to showcase what they can sell. So one of them is actually Lamanzares Barong, founded by Brian Poe Lamanzares, the son of Senator Grace Poe. They advocate for the Lumban embroidery for barongs.
Okay, Lumbay is an indigenous tribe.
Yes, in the province of Laguna. Yes.
Okay. So Lumbuang is a group of people, or is that the town?
It's a municipality.
Municipality.
Yes.
Okay. So
Lumban, that's kilala po siya to embroider barongs. So that's what they showcased. And what they showcased in the New York Fashion Week was not the typical barongs that we see. It's modernized. Younger people will also be interested to buy them. And a lot of people are actually quite surprised that these are barongs. Because the way they made the barongs are very contemporary. And then we also have Nino Franco, who specializes on doing artisanal work from the tribes in Mindanao, specifically the weavings from the artisans of Lake Cebu in Mindanao. So that's what he's known for. And then we also have Gabby Garcia from Tagpi. Then I also showcased my small bridal collection that time. But the major designers were Adrian Charuel of Maison Metis, Shaina Mamawal, and Andrea Tetanco.
I see. Very nice. So those were, and they designed wedding gowns.
A variety, Tita. Evening wear, casual wear, but a lot of them are evening gowns. So specifically China and Andrea are more on the formal side, whereas my
Wait. China. It's not China, the country.
No.
Yes. So give the names of those two.
Yeah. China Mamawal is an up-and-coming designer. She's making a wave right now in Manila. She specializes on evening wear. She's a very good friend of mine. I love her to death. Super bubbly personality. And then Andrea Tetanco is a little bit more senior in the industry. She's been designing for quite some time, and her taste level and craftsmanship is superb. And we're very grateful that they actually participated with our show and in New York Fashion Week, because they deserve to be highlighted.
And you said after the show there were clients already who were saying, we'd like to buy.
There are a lot of clients that are interested with the garments. At least they know that there are talents from Filipinos in the Philippines that we could bring here. And one of the components as well, Tita, of Filipinxt is that we're also launching our e-commerce platform. So if you go to filipinxt.com, you should be able to buy the designers' pieces off the rack. And that's good. That's a really good avenue, because a lot of the designers in the Philippines, they don't have a distribution here.
Yes.
Because
it's too expensive.
It's too expensive. You need the business registration. So so Filipinxt is doing that for them. So we are the distribution here.
Wow.
So they can legally actually sell their garments here.
Okay. So what you're saying is that give the spelling of Filipinxt.
Filipinxt. It's para po siyang Filipino. So Filipin. Tapos nauso po yung Latin X, di ba? So pinilitan namin ng X. So
After N?
N. X.
NX, okay.
And then we wanted to showcase the next Filipino designers. So it's NXT. So Filipinxt. That's the etymology of Filipinxt.
Yes, okay, very good. All right, so you know the spelling of that. Look it up in Google, in the internet. All right, good. So now, so your idea is to bring them over here, and by having them exposed to the American market,
Correct.
you are helping an entire industry
Yes.
You know, the sowers, the heavers,
Correct.
and all that. Yeah. As you know, this one is Mindanao, coming from indigenous tribe in Mindanao.
Yes.
Yes.
So
And
Tita, we really wanted to bring back, business to our Filipino artisans. The US is a very big market. Actually, there's probably like 4.5 million Filipinos alone in America. It's a small country already, right? So we actually have people here who will love to support our artists, and if we are very grateful also that we are the avenue for them to come here.
yes. No, that's very good. That's excellent ambition and vision. Yes.
Thank you po.
Bessie Besana. All right. Now, something personal. How about your love life?
I was not ready for that, but I'm currently single. Yeah. I have someone like that I'm dating, sort of. I'm interested, so we'll see, Tita.
Yes,
Maybe
yes.
after a couple of months, I will come back here and tell you about it.
Yeah, but it's basically for now. It's really work.
Yes,
Yes,
correct,
because
Tita.
it's moving up. It's
Correct.
flying.
So I have Filipinxt. I have my brand Bessie Besana, and I'm also part of a restaurant, Tita.
Okay, and tell the people about it so that they can patronize it.
Yeah, so we have a restaurant in the Lower East Side. It's called Kalye. We are actually on our second location. It's in Rivington, 111 Rivington in the Lower East Side. And we offer authentic Filipino food. And the ambiance of the space is also very hip, very young. As the name suggests, Kalye, you can see a lot of things in the restaurant that you can see in a Kalye in the Philippines. So we have like kapi shutters. We have parang our bar is like a barong-barong and a sari-sari store. And then we also have a bougainvillea tree that you can take a picture in. Then we have murals as well of Darna. So the elements that you see on a normal street in Manila, you will see in the interior. But more than that, the food is authentically Filipino. So our barbecue is made or marinated in banana ketchup. So when you bite it, talagang alam mong, like Pinoy barbecue.
Pinoy
So we're
barbecue.
very grateful about that. I'm helping my business partner Rob. He's also my business partner in Filipinxt. I'm helping him bring Kalye also to the next level and to also do the business development for the brand.
That's terrific. All right, everyone. That's Kalye in New York, 111
Rivington.
Rivington in the Lower East Side.
Correct.
All right, good. We have to patronize our own Filipino businesses. My God, so you have all three. So in a way, your father's ambition for you to be a businessman is happening.
It is, Tita.
Yes, in a very natural, organic
Correct.
way.
Actually, Tita, what I realized also is that entrepreneurship is not for everyone. I'm very lucky that when I jumped into fashion, I never really knew that I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I thought I'm going to be a designer. But I was told that, in fashion, 50% is about talent. And 50% is about business. So you have to be a businessman so you can be successful in anything. Now that I'm here and I'm venturing into a lot of things, I also wanted to be a serial entrepreneur. I wanted to make sure, I wanted to also to prove to myself that whatever I touch or whatever business that I venture into, it will become successful.
Okay.
So it's a personal challenge.
Very good. So for those of you who are thinking of being an entrepreneur, I want to ask you, what would you say is the secret sauce? How can you be very talented and still be a very good businessman?
You have to make sure, Tita, that whatever you're doing is sellable to the market and there's scalability. I think a lot of artists...
Explain what scalability means.
There's a lot of artists that focuses on their craft so much that unfortunately, they forget to understand the ability to sell more of a specific item. And nowadays, what I realize is that, especially in America, where, it's very vast, there's a lot of states, you cannot get into every single store and, present your dresses. So for me, I also found my own way to scale my business, to manufacture my dresses, multiply it so that I could sell a lot better. And with Bessie Besana, with Filipinxt, and with Kalye, these are all scalable businesses, and that's what we're venturing into. So I would suggest that new entrepreneurs, you should make sure that your business is scalable, and unfortunately, you're not doing a 9 to 5, so it's a 24/7 business. Yeah.
Okay, as an entrepreneur, it's 24/7, meaning no vacation, and while making it.
Correct.
Okay, eventually, when it's successful, then take all the vacation you want.
Correct,
right?
Tita. Yes
okay,
po.
so it's 24/7. If you're willing to work that hard, then you can follow Bessie in your dreams and then in your work.
Correct.
Yes. But you said I have a partner. So what does your partner, does your partner do something that you cannot do?
Actually, Tita, I'm very lucky to find Rob, my business partner. Rob's background in the Philippines is a lawyer. So he does a lot of the administrative items, and I do a lot of the creative ones. And our balance is just like, we just sync so well. He's like, it's just a perfect partnership, Tita. We have the same attitude towards work. We actually, surprisingly, for a year already that we've been working together, we've done a lot of projects together. We never argued, we never fight. Like, we just knew that we understand each other, and I'm very grateful because I could see a long-term partnership that I will have a long-term partnership with Rob on this one. And of course, considering also his husband is part of the whole the picture, so I'm also very grateful for Henry.
Yes. Okay. So that's also part of having a good business. That a partnership that works.
Correct.
Where you don't argue all the time.
Correct.
So you give in to one another. And besides, you have different talents.
Yes,
He's
exactly.
a lawyer. He takes care of business.
Yes.
Takes care of finances.
Yes.
You know, and then the other one is the talent
Yes.
and the project manager.
Correct.
Okay. I know of someone who had a very successful business, was paying her taxes to the treasurer or to her business manager, and he stole the money. So that's why, having a good partner,
Correct.
honest, with integrity is important in a business.
That's true, Tita. Actually, like with me and Rob, we're very transparent financially. Like, we have access to our accounts, so we know what's happening. And then at the end, like for example, now that we've wrapped up our show, we actually sit down and talk about where our expenses went, how can we improve this next season, and all of these things. And I'm very grateful because it's very hard to find people that really jives with you on a business perspective. And we're even, I even consider him as a very good friend. So I'm actually very lucky.
Yes, I would say you are. Yes, God takes care of you. All right, so did you hear that? After the business, you sit down and look at what happened.
Correct.
Some people call it post-mortem, but
Correct,
it really
yes.
is, going over finances, where could you improve, where did you go wrong, so that the next one, you will not commit the same mistake.
That's true,
Yeah.
Tita. Actually, from our last show, so from May to the September show, people really gave us a thumbs up, telling us that we really improved on a lot of the aspects that were raised during our first show. And we're very grateful because people recognize our efforts. And we could only hope and see that, the next season and the next season after that will be even better.
My goodness, right. So next time I'll be at your show.
Yes,
and
in the
watch
front
it.
row.
And, yes. All right. So what would you consider are your difficult? Well, you have already said the difficulty, but what would you say how you overcame, the hurdles, the difficulty that came your way?
Tita, if there's one thing that I learned from my friends about me, because it was them who gave me the feedback, is that I'm very courageous. If I think of something that I wanted to do or wanted to achieve, I try it. Because for me, the worst thing that could happen for myself is that I don't try. Because if I fail, at least I know that I tried. Because for me, the worst thing is not trying at all. And that's always the advice that I would give to everybody in any venture. Try and at some point, when you try to open 100 doors, at least one of them is gonna open.
All right.
So that's how I think about life in general.
Okay. So many people don't go into it because they might fail.
Yeah.
So how do you tell that? Wow, I might fail. I'd better not do it.
Tita, I believe that fail means first attempt in learning.
Excellent. Did you hear that, guys? Okay. Fail means first attempt in learning. That's fail.
Correct.
In other words, it's an education.
Correct.
Okay. So never be afraid to try something.
Correct.
Okay, because that's the problem.
That's true,
if
Tita.
I fail, it's like, oh my God, your own self-image. Who am I? What am I? And all that. But your attitude is better. It's a first attempt at something. No?
Yes, in learning.
In learning.
Yes.
So it's a form of education.
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
And 20 years ago, my 20-year-old self, who didn't even think about like this.
Like this.
But those years were formative to who I am today. And I'm very grateful that I committed a lot of mistakes when I was younger.
A lot of mistakes. Remember, he did a lot of mistakes. So, any of you who are listening, don't say, oh, I might fail. It's the first attempt at learning.
Yes.
You learn as you fail.
Correct.
My daughter had started a not-for-profit, and the first thing she does is, everybody, we will fail in computer. So, celebrate failure. And she stands up and claps.
Yeah.
So, what do you say? Celebrate failure. No. He says, I failed. And everybody claps. It's standing up. I failed. Why? Because it's so difficult for people of color, Black or Latino, to fail because they say, that's the end of me.
Correct.
No, but you're saying, no, it's not. Yes.
There's always a next time and you can always improve yourself.
There's always a next time and you can always improve yourself. That's marvelous. That's Bessie Besana. Now, there are some questions from the audience. Okay, this is from Alex A. How does the fashion scene in New York compared to the fashion scene in the Philippines? And how have you adapted to the difference?
I think there's a big difference for me, Tita, because in the Philippines, I kind of know a lot of people already. Because when I was younger, I volunteered a lot. So I kind of met a lot of people along the way. Here, I don't really know anybody. So it's actually a little bit harder. But the thing about us is that there's so many Filipino talents in New York. So when we started Filipinxt specifically, I realized that there's one person that could lead me to the next person and to the next person. And it's starting already. And it's snowballing. I feel that now I have a bigger network. I know more people. And I think that we're really on to our, we're going to be bigger soon. And I'm the type of person that is not adverse to like the hard work. So I'm ready and willing to put the hard work to get to that point.
Okay, there you go. Getting out of his comfort zone and just getting to know people. Yes. Right? Okay, and not being afraid. That's terrific. Okay, now this is from Carolina M. What was the biggest risk you took when deciding to relocate your career, and how did you overcome any fears associated with the move?
It was very hard, Tita, because in the Philippines, I already had set up everything. I have an office, I have my team, I have everything sorted out, even suppliers. So coming here, I didn't even have a space. So I had to start living with my friends, with my family. And for me, that's a little bit hard because I never really grew up with living with somebody except for my parents because I'm an only child. But I learned that I'm willing to put in the effort to get to the next level. And I'm very grateful that I'm at that level already. I am at a level where I was able to rent my own space. I have my own, location. And it's because I took 3 years to actually get to the level or to the place where I am right now. And it was tough, but you have to do the tough part to get to the best part.
Okay. All right. With so many lessons and the example of really trying, not being afraid, and then getting there. And, so don't let failure stop you. And this is from Lourdes T. How do you balance your previous success in the Philippines with the challenges of being a newcomer in New York's competitive scene? In a way, you have said it already.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. So the last one is Maricel S. What's the most valuable lesson you learned from starting over here in New York? Most valuable lesson.
I think the most valuable lesson that I learned starting over here in New York is that I didn't start from zero. I started from experience. So back in the Philippines, I had a lot of experience. And when I came here, baon ko yun. Like, I'm not a student anymore. I kind of know where I want to go. And I'm a little bit more aggressive as well. And I didn't let any doubts or anything to stop me to reach my personal goals. And I feel that if you have that mindset, you will be able to achieve anything. And I feel that I also wanted to hopefully inspire other people to take the leap and try it as well.
Okay, so that's so wonderful. All right. So what he's saying is that wherever you are, you have already the inner skills and vision, or even if you don't have the skill, you have something within you.
Correct.
And you set your goal and just go after it.
Correct, tita.
Yes. All right. We have Bessie Besana, fashion designer, producer of beauty pageants, and restaurateur in Kalye. Please be sure to visit it. So thank you, Bessie.
Tita. Thank
this
you
is
for
so
having
nice,
me.
so good, so good. All right, there you have it, the Loida Lewis podcast. Let us live, love, laugh, and learn with together. All right, thank you.
Thank you, tita.
The Loida Lewis Podcast, hosted by Loida Lewis, is produced by the creators of Over a Glass or Two, Jesse and JV, executive produced by Loida Nicolas Lewis. Rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for a chance to be featured on a future episode. Have a question for Miss Loida? Just email us on askloidalewis@gmail.com. Your question might make its way to a future episode. Subscribe on all major platforms to never miss a beat. Thank you for listening to the Loida Lewis Podcast. Let's live, love, laugh, and learn together